In this daily drop, I'm going to talk about the advantage of using a remote control to control your camera system and other things. So let's go. All right, everybody, here we are, and I don't know what's going on outside. It may not be as bad as California today, but it's like the witching hour. There are dogs barking, howling. I'm hearing all kinds of things outside there. Taking a break from post-production and shortly going out the door to see my son's basketball game. And I wanted to talk about these things, remote controls. Maybe it's an 80s thing for me, but if I have my choice and I can control a light or lights, displays, cameras with a remote, I'm going to take that over app-based control any day of the week. Now, there's advantages to apps, and if you have a dedicated tablet, I've talked about that in the past, you can kind of get a good system going. But I like tactile remote controls, and I'm kind of sick of walking over to that camera, the A7C II, and starting and stopping recording every time I want to do another take for the daily drop. So I did a little research and found this little sucker right here, about $33 US, and it is a cell-based battery. I wish it was AAA, but essentially what you do is you put in a battery into this thing, you go into your menu system, you make sure that Bluetooth is on, you pair, and that is part of activating the remote. What I have noticed is that the A7C II is essentially 2 steps, and on the FX30 above me, which is the camera that's looking down on this, it's 3 steps. It's just in another place for the Bluetooth remote, and then you have to say, oh, I want to use the paired device because there's some extra functionality in that camera. Now, are there any downsides? Yes, there are. But the upside, at least so far, is on my A7C II, I cycled the camera and it was still starting and stopping. There are options here, at least with this particular remote, to switch between zoom. That's your clear image zoom. So you have to activate that, and focus. And you've got plus and minus to control that. And then C1 is what you have your camera set to. So you basically can choose what that assignable button is going to be. I haven't tried that yet. They make these for Nikon, Nikon. They make them for Canon. Haven't tried them with those. The big disadvantage for me, which I was alluding to earlier on, is I can't pair the A7C II and the FX30 and then just press start, stop, record and have both cameras start, both cameras stop. So you really have to get 2 remote controls. Now, it's easy for me to reach up and start and stop record on that FX30 above me. Not so easy to walk over there. Well, it is easy, but if I'm doing multiple takes, it's just saving me time. So maybe $30 to $40 US is worth it for you to have a remote control that's going to start and stop recording. If you have more than one camera and you're going to have multiple remotes, that may be the place where you start to think about controlling things with an app. But even then, it can get a little bit tricky with multiple cameras. Maybe you get 2 of these and you just put a little piece of white gaff and say A, another one for B. Might be a little simpler. I don't know. It's working for me right now, at least for one camera. And don't forget to, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.